Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, your Virgo September 2022 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James. For those of you who are stopping by for the first time, and to the subscribers, well, much love and affection towards you. It's been great to see you. Now, as you subscribers know, there are no advertisements which cut into the content of this video, so you get to enjoy the experience uninterrupted. Now, speaking of experience, I've had the great pleasure of doing a number of Virgo one-on-one clairvoyant readings in the course of the last month, and if you'd like to have your own one-on-one clairvoyant experience with me, just check out the information that's in the description box below. Particularly have a look at the website. I think you might find it very interesting, Go into some detail about a number of matters. But let's now take 5 cards for you, shall we? Now, I don't know what this deck is called, sadly. My son and daughter found it while they were out shopping together at a flea market one afternoon. And they picked it up for me, but it came with no box and no papers. All the cards are here. Every card was here. It was just tied up with some string. But every card is in it, but no idea what it is. But I do know this, that it does work extremely well. If you do happen to know what it is, let me know in the comments section of the below, because it's always good to know these things, I guess. Let's see what there is first up. The Hermit. Well, the Hermit has a Hebrew letter, a Yud that's there, and it looks like there is a Elder Futhark rune symbol as well. So we should see what that is. The Hermit, of course, is ruled by Virgo. Did you know that? Let's have a look. There is the Devil, again, with a rune letter that's there, and a sacred Hebrew letter of the alphabet. Each of the letters of the Hebrew alphabet have a spiritual meaning attached to them, incidentally. And the Hebrew letters have found their way into various decks of the tarot over the centuries. Why, I don't know, but there it is. This is what? The 3 of Wands. Oh, in this case, we have a I Ching hexagram, a Chinese I Ching hexagram. Fortunately, I happen to know a bit about I Ching, and so that will have a particular resonance and meaning for you in connection with this card here, which I may use some astrology with, I may not. We shall see. It depends what the energies are doing at the time. This is the 5 of Wands, another I Ching hexagram that's there, a different one, as you would imagine. And let's get something from in here somewhere, shall we? What's going on? See what this is. What is that? What a beautiful card. The Father of Swords in the South. Ra, the ancient Egyptian sun god. Most excellent. Why don't you come now, sit down here next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Let's look at this Virgo card, shall we, of the Hermit, and see what it has to say with you. It has a Viking rune, and it has a Hebrew letter on it. We'll discuss those in just a second. Very much about Virgo, this, as you can see from your symbol there. Well, what can we say about the Hermit? Now, a man stands on a mountaintop, surrounded by birds symbolizing the spirit. Now, you might see in here, there are the faces of gnomes that are embedded within the rock, and that symbolizes the elemental spirit forces alive in nature. Now, the lantern that's here, that is, of course, the lantern of human knowledge and teachings passed from generation to generation. And over here, there's a triangle with an eye inside of it, which is one of the traditional images that people have used for gods. Look, I think that this is a time where there'll be something of a withdrawal from outside interests at some point in time. Definitely a self-reliance, almost a self-creation and a redevelopment of yourself, developing your personality even further and gaining wisdom. I think it's very likely that you'll have very powerful dreams during this period. Now, the Viking letter that I refer to is this one here. It's just a straight line that goes down like that. That Viking letter is Isa, and it indicates a time, well, not surprisingly, of standstills. There's a freeze in some situation. Maybe all of your plans should be put on hold for a while. Wait for improved conditions or more enthusiasm before continuing on. This can indicate temporary delays and frustrations. Maybe there's a problem with someone's loyalty to you or friendship or someone standing up for you in a fight. But relationship problems that you do have are going to be resolved soon, and positively so. Now, I then noticed that there is what is the 10th letter. This thing here, it's called Yud. It's the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It's the first letter in the Yud He Vav He, which is the divine name of God, which we pronounce as Yahweh. We don't know exactly whether that's the right pronunciation because there were no vowel markers found on the letters. But basically, this 10th letter is a dot or a point, and it represents the Creator, the single point from which all of creation emerges, and the unity within multiplicity. It is the foundation of all foundations, the hidden divine spark which causes everything to be. It represents the power of the Spirit to govern and guide matter. Now, obviously, it's a symbol of the Holy One, the Creator, since the holy name starts with that Yud, as I say, Yud, He, Vav, He, they're Hebrew letters. Now, even though it's very small in its form, the meaning of this energy is very great. According to Kabbalistic tradition, all of creation came forth from a single point, a point which represents God's infinite presence inside of the finite world. Now, Yod also represents, as I say, the idea of unity within multiplicity, of one whole that is comprised of parts. Yod, or Yud, as we see, is a single point. But actually its value is 10. It's the 10th letter. It shows us that many grains of sand are used to make one pot. Many pages make up one book. Many drops of water make up the ocean. There are many occurrences in the world, but they all stem from one God, perfect and indivisible. Now, it also represents the 10 numbers which are in the tarot cards from the ace through to the 10. Now, when I say it's a dot, it's actually an infinite or endless dot, the essence of all life. It is the foundation of all foundations. Everything comes from it and returns to it. It is a hidden dot beyond imagination, formless, the source of all thought, beyond all thoughts, beyond time and space. It is the secret, hidden principle of the universe that we can't perceive. It is the divine spark of life that is in every single being. It cannot be grasped, but is in every cell of your body, causing you to exist. It has no mass or density or time or space. In it is the power of the Spirit to govern and guide the matter in this material world. Well, shall we go to the devil and see what you have to say, you devil? And there is the astrological symbol for Capricorn here, as you might expect. So it's very much of a Capricorn energy, practical. Another good earth sign like yourself. It is the sister sign of yours. Now here, what do we have? I'm just looking at this painting here. The picture is organized around a diagonal line, which sort of runs like that. This seems to be how the art seems to be running, the diagonal line. And it's broken up by a crystal. You see that crystal that's there? Which transforms the aggressive instinct of the devil. Now the snake is an image of rebirth and the visionary experience. The devil has 3 horns, 1, 2, 3, and 3 eyes, 1, 2, 3. And it's got like a sort of a little hat, or what do you call these things, a diadem with jewels in it there. There's something exciting, possibly dangerous or forbidden rather, coming up for you during this period. Temptation, great degree of physical gratification, maybe exploring your darker feelings and fantasies. Wild action opens up new areas in your life. Now, is there going to be any danger associated with this? Well, the answer is no, because I'm looking at this Viking letter here, and that's the letter Algiz. And this is all about the energy of protection. It tells of a fortunate new influence entering into your life. Now you should follow your instincts now, since they will hit the mark perfectly. Friendships are in the picture. Even though you've withdrawn a bit, still friendships are there. Either new or old friends are going to lend you with useful assistance. Now I've often seen this come up where an opportunity is provided to you by someone. Accepting the offer or opportunity will turn you in a beneficial new direction. And then let's not forget this Hebrew letter that's here. We've got some I Ching to deal with next. This Hebrew letter here, that's the 16th letter of the alphabet, Ayin. And it means I, and correspondingly, it has to do with vision and bringing forth lights that are hidden. And this energy teaches you to see beyond and relates also to time, which is very much to do with the devil. It is the aspect of the visionary to see not just what is happening in front of her or him at the time, but to envision beyond that, to know one's direction 5, 10, 100 years ahead and beyond. Now, Ayin is a sort of I'm going to talk about the pronunciation, but that doesn't really matter. The actual letter itself is very much associated with a number of words to do with time, being in Hebrew, which will translate as time, hours, future, past, moment, until, eternity, and so forth. And vision. Now, interestingly, my Kabbalah teacher many years ago, when I was a younger man, told me a story once of his grandfather as a very old man out in the yard of the family house, moving large rocks, clearing the land, creating a garden and planting trees. And my instructor asked, why was my grandfather planting those trees? He was too old and they would not mature in time to feed him. Well, it was because he was planting them for the next generation ahead, beyond himself. That is vision. It teaches you to understand the cause and effect in your life, how past actions lead to future outcomes, and how to think for the future. This energy is begging you to open your eyes to see beyond the physical. Now, it's meant to take you from dark to light, and it urges you to break through the walls of limitations in order to see what is not yet visible to you. So much for the devil. Now let's have a look to see what's here. Here is virtue, and you've got plenty of virtue, haven't you? What's interesting about this is that, well, the image looks quite straightforward. The ruined cathedral's window opens to the sky. The remains of the building suggest humanity's ancient need to give structure to religious feelings. I think you'll be acting in harmony with nature. You'll have plenty of purpose, and you're going to have very, very good fortune during this period. Now, looking at this hexagram that's here, it's called hex because there's six lines. They're read from the bottom to the top. The broken lines are yin, or feminine principle. The unbroken lines are yang, or masculine principle. Now, they can be read as couplets, by 2 lines at a time, or 3 and 3, but I prefer to do it as 6 like this. And when I do it as 6 like that, I come up with the Chinese phrase ting. Now, ting is... it's really about, it talks about like a cauldron or a cooking pot, I suppose you would say. And the action here is for you to refine or to make better, to improve. Ting is associated with the energy is associated with the alchemical process of transformation, which we talked about here with the devil, did we not? The transformation where the distance between spirit and ego must evaporate. Now, on your journey to fulfill your destiny, you are first called into initiation. Now, you can choose to ignore the call or to follow it. Generally, the initiation begins when the ego has been wounded or a path suddenly ends. Therefore, the cauldron is often about the deeper spiritual and more all-encompassing aspects of your journey. Now, this is a very powerful hexagram here with a message about fulfilling your destiny and the enormous inspiration you possess to accomplish your aims. The cooking pot can show a situation in its beginning stages, such as taking a job to receive training, or the early part of a relationship that is, as yet, strictly speaking, kind of undefined. But you're at the point now where actual change is taking place. So the message is, in a sense, I suppose, give it time. Something is still cooking, while the underlying cause underneath it is about persevering and pushing onward towards your goal. The cauldron is a complete rebirth and reconnection with your life path. In other words, most of the hexagrams are reflecting the kind of the ordinary daily experiences you encounter. But when you receive this one, the perspective has broadened into a more far-reaching, all-encompassing view of your life. And if you are asking about work or relationships, and you get this in your reading, as you have done, you can be certain that fate or karma are coming into the equation as well. There is enormous power in this situation. The hidden influences of determination and breakthrough can only work if you're on the right path. Life can seem to be pushing back against you as a way of ensuring that you get where you need to be. Now, with proper determination to succeed on your authentic path, success is definitely guaranteed. Now, since the cauldron is a spiritual vessel, this energy can portray enormous talent, creativity, or spiritual insight that you can tap. In a sense, you are the cauldron, and your inspiration is boundless. Let's have a look at the 5 of the same suit, and now this is very symmetrical here, is it not? Conflict it's talking about. That's not a bad thing, I don't think, for you. What strikes me is that you can see like a column of rock which is extending all the way up through there, and this rock is almost phallic in nature, And the top here resembles a brain, suggesting the human body put together. Now the dark, chaotic column suggests a bloody history, but the arrangement of the spears is very quite orderly, detailed, and hierarchical. Now when I look at this hexagram here as I do, I see the I Ching of Ko. Now Ko is, it's asking you to transform. Ko actually kind of means molting, the way an animal molts, or birds, or revolution. That's another idea that could come from the Chinese. Do you know, a mind once stretched by a new idea never regains its original dimension. Now this energy that's come through here of Ko, I think a situation that has come to a point where a revolution in thinking or action has become necessary. At the same time, it's the image here of how animals and reptiles shed their skin in cycles. There may be nothing familiar left about the situation after it goes through revolution. Now the underlying cause here, which is like a youthful foolishness energy flowing underneath it, that shows where repeated attempts can transform things. However, this energy suggests that sustained effort alone will just be futile because a complete transformation is necessary. You'll just be banging your head against a door. You've got to change the thing completely. There can be a fear that accompanies the change because the new path is unfamiliar. There is always some element of increased self-knowledge available when this energy is here. Molting, or the changing of the skin or of the hide, can show that you may have conformed to a situation that did not tap who you really are. Do you understand that? As you open to the transformation, you can make your debut, if you like, into authenticity. Whatever worked in the past will no longer do, and you must open yourself to deep and powerful change. Now, actually, I'll just mention that unhappiness is usually viewed as a negative feeling, but it is the heart sending messages about the need for change. Therefore, even while the previous type of joy evaporates, like rain, it will return. There can be excited energy generated once you make the commitment to change. In life, we don't always know what we want until we discover what we don't want. And this energy here for you this month is purely focused on truth, authenticity, and the discovery of real fulfillment. Now that takes us finally, I think, doesn't it, to here, just get my jacket straightened up. Yeah, that looks better, doesn't it? Finally to Ra, the sun god, in ancient Egypt. Well, here, Ra, who was the god of the sun, actually, in ancient Egyptian religion, Ra was the source of all life, was the creator of life, and very often depicted with the sun sitting on top of his head. He was depicted as a falcon with the sun on top of his head, and then this green asp. Some people, because of the way that it splays out like that, might think it looks like a cobra. But green is talking about renewal, it's talking about life. And he was the king of the gods and the god of fertility and of creation itself. Now, what's interesting here is that, do you know, I've got a real feeling that you're going to have Gemini and Taurus around you at this time. Because we have the energy of the mind in Gemini with the influence of the stability and determination of Taurus. So we're looking here at a person, because these court cards can be of either gender, but I'll refer to it as a man who's active, clever, skillful, fierce and courageous, but quite often very unreflective. He really represents the idea of attack, of the violent power of motion applied. He is the wind, the storm, and his moral qualities are skill, subtlety, cleverness. He can be fierce, and he can be delicate, and he can also be courageous. And he can also be altogether consumed by his current idea or notion, which just comes to him by way of inspiration without him even having properly considered or thought about it. But for you, I think it's going to be a time of great goal orientation for you. You'll have ambition. You'll have very flexible intellectual powers, and there's going to be a great degree of passion with you. Your strong intellectual determination is unified with a deep emotional perceptiveness. Now, only goals which are emotionally charged can kindle such passion, but your body, intellect, and spirit are going to be in harmony. Now, I see that you'll be getting clear insight into a problem and working quickly to set goals without letting anything getting in the way. But this is nevertheless something of a restless period for you, where you are transitioning, which is what we've been talking about, and trying to get somewhere else, either in your everyday life or possibly even in travel. But it is definitely, if I may say, a time during this period of reflection, which has been talked about here, and during this period of cooking in the cauldron, as we've had it with Hebrew letters, we've had it with hexagrams, we've had it with the protections that have been afforded to you with the Viking runes. This is a time to listen to your head rather than your heart. I think there could be a restlessness in all aspects of your life at the moment. Maybe you want to break free of the workplace. The point is, though, that you're in a good position now to forge plans, to set goals, and to bring them to fruition. But do you know your goal? Are you able to write it down in one simple sentence? What is your goal, and what happens once you achieve it? Imagine how you will best be able to enjoy your success. And say this to yourself: I know my goal, and I know what I am working towards. And each goal is just a milestone on the way to my ultimate destination. Well, what a particularly interesting set of cards for you, don't you agree? Good job. That's the way it is for you this month. I have to tell you that I thought that was a really interesting reading for you then. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did providing it to you. This is going to be a good month for you. I can see it here, and that's what it says for you now, so enjoy yourself. And of course, I'll then see you next month. And remember this, though, until the next time I see you, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.